Hi, everyone. Welcome back to our channel. Today, I have another story for you called Never Lose Hope. Please subscribe, like, share, and comment on my channel. Let's get started. Never Lose Hope, a story of resilience. My name is Amir. I want to tell you my story. Don't be disappointed, my grandfather always said. He was a man of wisdom and grace. Every evening, we sat on the porch. The sunset painted the sky in vibrant hues. Life is full of ups and downs, he began one evening. I remember a time when I was your age. It was a tough period. He paused, looking into the distance. His eyes sparkled with memories. I had a dream. I wanted to be a pilot. Flying was my passion. But things didn't go as planned, he continued. I failed the entrance exam. Twice. It was heartbreaking. I felt like giving up. He looked at me and smiled. But I didn't. I studied harder. I sought help. Eventually, I passed. I got into flight school. Don't be disappointed by setbacks, he advised. They are part of the journey. They make you stronger. After becoming a pilot, I faced many challenges. Storms, mechanical failures, long hours away from home. But each challenge taught me something valuable. Grandfather's words resonated with me. Perseverance is key. Keep pushing forward. Learn from every experience. One day, while flying, he encountered a severe storm. It was terrifying, he said. The plane shook violently. Passengers were screaming. But I remembered my training. I stayed calm. I navigated through the storm safely. It was a test of my skills and patience. He looked at me with pride. That day, I realized the importance of resilience. No matter how tough things get, don't be disappointed. Keep going. My grandfather's stories always inspired me. His life was a testament to the power of perseverance. You can achieve anything, he would say. Just believe in yourself and never give up. Don't be disappointed, he repeated. Every setback is a setup for a comeback. His words stayed with me. Through every challenge I faced, I remembered his advice. And it made all the difference. Grandfather's wisdom became my guiding star. In school, I faced my own set of challenges. Exams, projects, and competitions tested my limits. There were times when I felt overwhelmed and ready to give up. One such instance was during a science fair. I had worked tirelessly on my project, a model of a sustainable city. The night before the fair, a sudden storm hit our town. Strong winds and rain flooded our basement, where I kept my project. I rushed downstairs, my heart pounding. Water had ruined my model. The hours of work, the meticulous details, all washed away. I was devastated. I sat on the steps, staring at the soaked remains. Tears filled my eyes. That's when I heard grandfather's voice in my head. Don't be disappointed. Taking a deep breath, I knew what I had to do. I stayed up all night, rebuilding my project. With limited materials and time, it wasn't perfect. But I finished it. The next day, at the fair, I nervously set up my model. It wasn't as polished as before, but it was functional. I explained my concept to the judges, sharing my passion and determination. To my surprise, I won second place. The judges admired my resilience and creativity under pressure. It was a lesson I would never forget. Setbacks are not the end but a chance to rise stronger. Years later, in college, I pursued engineering. The workload was intense, and the competition was fierce. I faced failures and rejections. But grandfather's words were my anchor. Don't be disappointed. In my final year, I applied for an internship at a prestigious company. It was my dream opportunity. I prepared meticulously, but the interview was tough. I didn't get the position. Disheartened, I called grandfather. He listened patiently, then said, "Remember the storm, the science fair? Every failure is a stepping stone. Keep going." Encouraged, I applied to other companies. Soon, I landed an internship at a startup. It wasn't as renowned, but it offered hands-on experience. I worked hard, learning and growing every day. One evening, while working late, my phone rang. It was a call from the prestigious company. They reviewed my application again and were impressed by my persistence. They offered me a position. I was overjoyed. Grandfather's wisdom had proven true once more. Don't be disappointed. Every setback is a setup for a comeback. Years passed, and I built a successful career. I often shared grandfather's stories and advice with my colleagues and friends. His legacy of perseverance lived on through me. One day, I visited grandfather. We sat on the porch, watching the sunset. I told him about my latest achievements. He smiled, his eyes twinkling with pride. "You've done well," he said. "Remember, life is a journey. There will be more challenges ahead. But never be disappointed. Keep pushing forward." His words, simple yet profound, had guided me through the darkest times. They reminded me that resilience, patience, and hard work were the keys to success. As the sun dipped below the horizon, I felt a deep sense of gratitude. For grandfather, for his wisdom, and for the strength to persevere. "Thank you, grandfather," I said softly. He patted my hand, his touch warm and comforting. "Remember," he whispered, "don't be disappointed. The best is yet to come." And with that, I knew I was ready for whatever life had in store. Years went by, and I continued to face life's challenges with the same mindset my grandfather had instilled in me. Never lose hope. It became my mantra, echoing in my thoughts during tough times. One winter, my company faced a financial crisis. Projects were delayed, budgets were slashed, and layoffs were looming. Morale was low, and many of my colleagues were anxious and uncertain of what the future would hold. I found myself at the center of the storm, trying to hold things together. Late nights, endless meetings, and stressful decisions consumed me. But through it all, I kept hearing grandfather's voice in my mind, "Never lose hope." I reminded my team of this, telling them about the times grandfather had faced adversity and overcome it. We brainstormed ideas to get through the crisis, collaborating in ways we hadn't before. Slowly, the tide began to turn. We found innovative solutions, cut unnecessary costs, and brought new ideas to the table. One day, a breakthrough came. A major client signed a contract with us, giving the company a much-needed boost. It wasn't an overnight success, but through consistent effort and hope, we had weathered the storm. At the company's annual meeting, I was asked to speak. I stood before my colleagues, and instead of focusing on the company's recent success, I shared a personal story. I remember a time when my grandfather told me, "Never lose hope." He taught me that in the hardest moments, hope is what keeps us moving forward. That hope is what kept me going when I wanted to give up. And I saw that same hope in all of you as we worked through this together. The room was quiet for a moment before applause erupted. It wasn't just for the company's recovery, but for the spirit of resilience and hope that had carried us through. Years later, I returned to the town where I grew up, to visit grandfather's grave. The place was peaceful, surrounded by towering trees and wildflowers. I stood there for a while, reflecting on the journey, on everything grandfather had taught me. As I walked away, I smiled. "Never lose hope," I whispered to the wind, feeling his presence with me once again. I had come full circle. Life would continue to challenge me, but I had learned the greatest lesson of all: hope, resilience, and the belief that every setback is a setup for a greater comeback. And I knew, as long as I held on to hope, there was nothing I couldn't overcome. As I left grandfather's grave, I felt a deep sense of peace. His lessons shaped me into the person I am today. Life wasn't always easy, but with hope, perseverance, and the belief that each challenge was a chance to grow, I knew I could face anything. "Never lose hope," I whispered, and with that, I walked forward, ready for whatever the future held. If you enjoyed this story, don't forget to subscribe, like, share, and comment below. Your support means the world.